All right, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I don't have anybody special to announce me, so I have to announce myself. Very disappointed. My name is Jeremiah J. Manero. I am a national speaker on technology and generational differences, not together, but separate. I am an actively selling licensed associate broker from New York State. I've been in the business for 12 years. Okay, so a lot of the stuff you're going to hear today is actual hands-on experience. I am in the business just like you, and hopefully will be for a long, long time. Okay? So, who's excited to hear about millennials today?
I am.
Who's excited to hear about millennials today?
I am.
That's what I'm talking about, man. We're going to get to lunch soon. We only have 60 minutes, so let's get to it. There is handouts in your book. I think it's page 131. Okay. So if you're in my earlier class, I know we have a handful of people that were in the millennial class earlier, right? 5 or 6. Thanks for raising your hand. Okay. So we're not going to review the fun facts as we go through it, but we're going to go review everything else that you see in your handout there. Make sure my clicker is working. I do not have extra handouts. Does anybody have extra handouts from my friend here?
It's in your book.
What page is it?
133?
131.
Okay. So, our objective today is to help you to better understand millennial sellers, which is going to be a smaller portion of the millennial clients you work with now, but as we progress into the future, those of you who plan to be in the business for more than the next 10 years, right? Okay, these are going to be your big group of sellers in the next 10 years. Millennial sellers and how to work with them more effectively, and then also how to work with your fellow millennial realtor. Okay, is that important?
Yes.
Because is there sometimes some generational friction,
Yes.
would you say? Like these kids or those boomers. Like, I've been in the business long enough where I've heard kid enough times and you don't know what you're talking about, right? And part of, you can't tell us what to do as millennials, right? But we don't like to be called millennials, we don't like to be called kids. So just starting off like that. So what we're going to do today is what's a millennial, the seller, and then also agents. 3 ways. So again, this is a review if you were here earlier, but this group represents 35% of home buyers and 19% of home sellers. This is according to NAR's 2016 Generational Trends Survey. If you don't have it, you should get it. I think it's a $19 purchase, download, and then once you have it for life. But you need to study the generational statistics if you want to work better with different generations. Would you agree?
Yes.
Say yes.
Yes.
Okay. Characteristics of the group. As it applies here, 8% purchased a multi-generational home. Okay, they're sellers typically upsizing, right? You sold them their first house, right? They were probably a first-time home buyer. Now they're a first-time home seller, right? So, how many people love working with first-time home buyers? Half the room. The other half's like, I don't want to talk to them. But it's the same kind of process where you have to educate them because they've never done it before. If you work with boomers, somebody who hasn't sold a house in the last 25, 30 years, it's a similar process because they're not familiar with it. They need education, and that's where you come in. Okay, their primary motivation is to want a larger home. Okay, in our buyers class, we talked about there's 2 groups: the creative romantics and the dinks. Okay, dinks are dual income, no kids. I'll show you that in a second. So the creative romantics are the ones where you sold them a house that was like a fixer-upper, right? And they were in love, and then like want to have this house where we kind of fix it up and make it our own. Okay, those people when they become sellers are then looking for what? A house that they can move right into without making any kind of repairs. Okay, so it's important that you know you be a little bit more sensitive when you're walking through that house because it's their story. Right? They may have made some selections or choices in their updates that maybe don't appeal to the mass market of buyers that are out there. Right? But it's their home. It's The dinks see it as a house, right? It's just a piece of property. The romantics see it as a home. This is where we live. This is where we've grown. This is where we've had our children, right? And now we need a bigger house because we need more rooms, more space, etc. Better school district, whatever their motivation might be. The romantics see it as a home. The dinks see it as just a transaction. Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit about the millennials. As this goes haywire, one second. Is that okay? So what are some of the characteristics that stuck out for you from that video? Impatient. Service, right? How do they want their service?
Immediately.
24/7.
Right? They want you to be able to think when they're going to ask you a question and answer it before they actually asked it. Right? So they want it done yesterday. 24/7. What else did you see in that video?
That everything's urgent.
Urgent. That goes with this, right? Urgent. What about technology?
Everyone with it.
Right? They're native to technology. So what does that mean? They're born with it, right? I have a 1-year-old and a 6-year-old. My 6-year-old can run my iPad better than me. Okay, he's like, no, Dad, give it to me. Hey, better than me. Because from the age of like, man, probably as soon as you could talk, right around 1, you would use the iPad as a babysitter sometimes. Okay? And then it's literally born in his hands, and he's used to it. Where some of us, if you're X-Gen, Boomer, or anybody older, you remember a time when there wasn't computers, right? I'm right at the cusp between an X-Gen and a millennial, and I remember in the 3rd grade when we got our first Apple IIe. You remember that? Okay, and you had America Online. The Apple IIe, we used to play Oregon Trail on it, right? And you thought it was the best game ever. Could never beat it because I always end up dying of typhoid or something like that. But so native to technology. So when they're frustrated with you as a non-millennial or even a millennial, if you're not good with technology, it's not that they're trying to be condescending. They just don't get it. They're like, what do you mean you need to fax me something? Right? So that's where part of their frustration comes from. Native to technology. What else did you see in that video? They want to make a difference. Did you see that?
Yes.
You did, and I just told you saw it. Right? So we talked about this in the other class. If your value proposition is, I sell the most, I'm the best, that's not.
They know how much you care.
So they know how much you care. And that applies tenfold with millennials. Okay? So when you talk about from a public relations standpoint, if you're posting stuff on social media, don't post like, just sold, just listed. I want you to post volunteering at Habitat for Humanity, Ron McDonald's house, that kind of stuff. The stuff that you're already doing, not only can you help promote these really good places that you're volunteering for, but you're also, from a public relations standpoint, showing them that you care and that you're making a difference in the community. Does that make sense? Okay. So yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right, here's some fun facts that are in your book. We're not going to talk about each one of them, but 89% expressed a strong likelihood they would buy from companies that support specific social issues. That's what I just said. Right? Again, changing your value proposition of why they should do business with you. It's not that you're going to find the properties for them. It's not that you're the king negotiator and you can really get the deal done for them. Okay? 64% of millennials ready $40K a year at a job they love, then $100K at one they think is boring. So this applies to the managers and the brokers in the room. Right? If you want to recruit millennials, it's not that you can come to our office and make more money. It's come to our office because we have more fun. We do a lot of things in the community. We make a difference. Okay? Will they make more money? Maybe, but that's not their primary motivation. You could say if you come to our office, the technology that we have will make you more efficient, and you could do more in less time. Right? So if I'm making $40K at X company, and I move to this other company, Y, and I can make the same $40K, but in less time, that gives me time to do what I want to do with my life. Right? Because the millennial generation, they're working to live, not living to work. That's the huge difference between the generations prior. Generations prior was like, I hate my job, but I get up every day, 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock, and I grind it out for 30 years, I get my pension, and I'm done. Right? Not going to happen with millennials. All right, 19% of millennials agree that most people can be trusted. Talked about this in the last class. What does that mean? 81% don't trust you. Anyone, for that matter. How does that apply in real estate?
You have to prove yourself.
Build up the trust factor.
Be transparent.
How do you build trust?
Be transparent.
Be transparent. I like that.
Build relationship.
Develop the relationship. Tell the truth. Right? We said that earlier. Tell the truth and do what you say you're going to do. Under promise and over deliver. Okay? Never try to be a superhero. Say, yeah, we can get that done. We could do this. And then you don't perform. You may lose that client. Okay? Under promise, over deliver. 50% of millennials say that they're either extremely or very likely to buy a house in the next year. I had that on there because we are quite literally on the tipping point where you're going to see a ton more millennials flooding the marketplace because they're going to be ready to buy. They're at the age now where they're getting their student debt a little bit more under control. They're finding, employment that pays them enough, or they have parents that are kicking them out of the house and buying them something cash. Okay, that's the other part of it. Where we talked about boomerang. So, work to live. If you're selling their house and trying to get them into another, you're not selling them a house, it's the lifestyle. Correct? Right? That's where walkability scores really have become more commonplace. Like, okay, I'm going to be able to live here, and what else can I do while I'm here? Is it close to the park? Is it close to the beach? Can I go, what restaurants are nearby? Those are all things that are important to them because they want quality of life. So if your property that you're selling for a millennial seller, I would ask them, why did you buy this house? Right? It's for things that you wouldn't realize. I don't have it there in the statistics, but 1 out of 4 millennials will not buy a house if it has bad cell service or internet service. 1 in 4. It could be the home of their dreams. If they're there at the open house and their phone's not working, forget about it. Okay? I experienced we were talking about this before class started. Experienced it last night at my hotel. I'm trying to update my presentation, sync everything, update my computer, and the internet's not working. Okay? I paid extra for the fast internet, and it's not working. I was like, if there was a hotel out there that said, we're double the price, but our internet is the fastest you've ever seen, I would stay there over any other hotel. Right? Would my millennials agree with me? Yeah, because we have so much to do in so little time. Okay? So work to live. Are you guys experiencing, I know we have some people here from resort markets. Do you see that as well? Right? They care about where they're going to live and the things that are going on there. Right? So your sellers, we talked about it. The young professionals, or the dinks, dual income, no kids, they see it as a transaction. These are great clients because they actually sell more often. Right? They're like, you know what, I did my improvements, or you sold me a house and I got it for the right price, I did a couple little things, and I'm ready to sell. Can we cash out on this one and get something else? Right? It's just a transaction. It's all about bottom line. And they have a lot of disposable income because no kids. Right? A lot of that income goes to kids. And then we talked about the creative romantics. They see it at the home. So you got to think about that when you're giving them feedback. Okay? How many people use some kind of feedback system? Just 3 of you. 4 or 5. Okay. Handful. There's a couple vendors here, centralizedshowings.com, and the other one, Showing Time. I just switched from one to the other, actually. But that's great because the feedback that you get is unfiltered and comes directly from the other agent, not from you. If you've been in the business any amount of time, you're used to calling the agent, right? I call you, you tell me, oh, the shag carpet was awful, or then I then take that information and call the seller. I'm the messenger. They hate me. Right?
But you're not getting feedback on the showings from them. You still have to contact the agent.
No, it's all automated.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying after people show, if you don't get feedback from the agent.
From showing time you do.
Yeah. So,
I've never gotten it. I've been on showing time.
yeah, so the question is,
They're not asking me questions, and they've never asked the question. Sometimes I have to respond, but I've never been asked.
so we have a question about showing feedback. And any of the services, centralized showings or showing time. Showing time. I call a number, okay? And right now I'm here. My showing service is working for me. Somebody wants to show one of my listings. They pick up the phone, right? They schedule the showing.
But that's not what I'm saying.
I understand. I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to it. So we schedule the showing. It's confirmed. The minute after your showing is complete, but based on the time that you said you were going to show it, you should receive an email. And if not, something it's getting filtered in your junk mail. We'll talk after. Okay. So what they want from an agent? What do the sellers want? Well, ultimately they want that, right?
Quick response time.
Quick response.
Feedback.
Well, we're going to go through it bit by bit. First, communication. Right? We talked about this in the buyer's class, but it's the same thing because it's the same client. Right? They're buyers, now they're sellers. How should you communicate with them?
Text the way they want.
Anyway, they
I love it because automatically, I'm going to say are you a boomer? Boomer? Right? Yeah? So, you're a boomer? Okay. Like, my reflex are like texting. Texting. Those millennials, they love texting. And that may not be the case. You need to ask, you have to ask that question. When you're sitting down for your listing presentation, you sign the paperwork, how would you like to be communicated with? Okay? How would you like to be communicated with? If it's text, if it's the digs, they're like, just let me know when the property sells. Okay, I don't need the feedback, I don't need anything, I trust you. Send me the feedback automated, I'll read it. When you want to do an adjustment, let me know, we could do that. Does that make sense? What's the other question you should ask? How often? Frequency? Because some people like once a week, or they may like once a month. So you still should have some kind of system in place with what they want. Okay, and I always ask this question, what matters to them most? Okay, so I was recently working with a millennial client. They were selling their house and building a brand new house. What mattered to them most was a flexible closing date. Okay, we had multiple offers, and they took the offer that the buyer said they had like a cottage they were going to go to for the summer, and they could close whenever the seller needed to close. They actually took less money for that because they didn't want to have to move twice. Right? If you have a client building a home, you know how it is. Yeah, it's supposed to be done this date. Oh wait, this date. Oh wait, this date. Oh wait, this date. Next thing you know, they're pitching a tent on the lot that they reserved. Okay, so just be sure what matters to them most. Okay, that flexible closing there, whatever it is. Apps and programs to help you work with the millennial seller. First, showing service. And I promise, if you're not receiving feedback from that showing service, we'll make sure you're getting the feedback after today. But it's showing service because it's all about letting go and being more efficient. If you've been in the business any amount of time, I get it. You're used to that personal touch. But if you ask the seller what they value from you, it's not the fact that you call them all the time to set up showings. Okay, that's just an obstacle that's in the way of them selling their house. They want it to be efficient. Yeah.
Personally, I think that just so you know, okay? But let me tell you
I can't tell.
No, let me
I can't tell.
tell you why, okay?
Yeah.
Because if somebody says 24 hours, or somebody says, I must do whatever, and you're talking to the agent and says, you know what, I got a really great buyer, I can get it. Okay. You at least find out if it's a possibility. You have an option, or you call the seller and you find out if it's optional, okay? You call your showing service, they won't even do, I'm sorry, it's not 24 hours, I won't even make a call. Okay, but second of all, I can't tell you how many times I've called the showing service and I say, well, I tried to reach the person, I can't, you really have to call the agent, even though the instructions says to call them. So I'm saying, so those things are not being managed well, and there's no flexibility. And as far as me as an agent when I'm showing something, my important.
Okay, wait a minute.
So I'm just saying, so as far as I'm concerned,
Yes.
that's not servicing yourself.
So,
That's forcing it off to somebody else who's doing a road job. My opinion.
1 second. So what you said was what I don't like about it, right? What Rima doesn't like.
Because
Well, hold
I'm
on.
here for my buyer and
Hold on. What Rima doesn't like. And what we're talking about is what the seller wants. So if you want to provide good service, you provide what the client wants. Forget about what you want for a second. And you may have had a bad experience with an agent that maybe is not managing the property, the expectations, or the service.
Well, when I say to a seller, what kind of notice they want, maybe they say 24 hours, it's not always a hard or fast. I mean, it's just in general.
So again, that's the communication you're having with the seller. I tell my sellers, there may be a time when an agent is in the driveway and wants to show it 5 minutes from now.
And showing time, you don't have that flexibility.
They can if I put it in there. I promise you, because I do it. And I tell them we never want to miss an opportunity. And I promise after this we can walk down and we can have probably showing time and specialized showing to see who wins the battle. But what we're talking about here is this: what the seller wants. Okay, take a minute, because sometimes you're just getting in the way of yourself. Just take yourself out of it for a second and say, what does the seller want? And when I sit down with them and I say, look, we may call you last minute. Okay. And there's 3 different ways you can do it. It can be a show and go, which means if it's vacant on a lockbox, anybody calls it, show it immediately. It can be a courtesy call, meaning it could be vacant, but the seller wants to know when there's a showing, but it still gets confirmed immediately, and then an appointment required.
Why do I have to call showing time? I mean, I don't mind calling and just leaving a message of showing it. That's fine.
You're in the
Okay.
wrong class.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're moving on. Okay, so Trent, do you guys get how it works? And it works for some people, it may not work for everybody. Okay, and then you get the feedback. The point of the matter is that I've automated this system, right? I sit down with the seller and I say, when we're going to show the property, I will call you, I will email you, or I won't, the service will call you, email you, and text you. Whichever way you confirm first is how it gets confirmed. There's no way I could do that better than the showing service does. Because they're doing it right now, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., Monday through Saturday, and 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Sunday. And then they can still go online to showings.com, which I like to do because if millennial agents, you're working sometimes different schedules. I have kids, they go to bed at 8 o'clock, I'm working from 8 o'clock till 12 o'clock. So that's when I'm scheduling my showings. I can go online to showings.com. I can say I want to show this property at such and such a time. If it's a show and go, gets confirmed, whatever it is, I'm doing it, I don't have to call anybody. So it's much more efficient. Okay? Transaction manager. Okay, again, that's any of your Instinet, DocLoop, zip forms, What are some of the ones you guys are using? DocuSign, right? Dotloop. I think if you have anything that is already provided by your real estate board, there's a lot of boards that provide it, that's what you should be using. You want to talk about collaboration, your fellow agent is probably using the same thing, so why not? If you're working in a transaction and you're in the loop, if it's Dotloop, or where I'm from in upstate New York, we have Instinet, and I'll have to sign it. And it works great. So you have to change your systems of how you're doing things, right? If you're used to filing cabinet, a folder, paperwork, it's a similar concept, except you take your electronic version of that paperwork, you file it within the transaction on your transaction manager, and then you're done. That's your filing cabinet. I have a client that calls me, he's getting sued for something that happened 5 years ago. From my phone, I can pull up that transaction, I can send him all the pertinent paperwork in less than 5 minutes. Okay? There's somebody that says, fax it to me, I could even do that. Okay, from my phone. If you have a last-minute attorney who says, hey, we didn't get that form, can you send it to me? Rather than say, when I get back to the office, right, you can pull up your phone again, pull up that transaction, send them the paperwork while I'm go. Because we haven't gone mobile, we are mobile, right? So every time you say, when I get back to the office, it's just inefficient. Okay, it's all up to my service on the go. BombBomb. Again, we talked about this. BombBomb is the bomb. Okay, but you've heard of drip email campaigns, right? So BombBomb has drip email campaigns for sellers. Because we know you may meet that seller and they may not be ready to put the house on the market for 6, 8, 10, 12 months, right? And that's a scary time. Because that entire time, they're not really your client. Right? So unless you have a really good drip email campaign and you stay in the loop and you provide them items of value, being a valuable resource of content as it relates to real estate, you may lose them. Okay? So with BombBomb you could have, how to depersonalize your house, how your home, should be a model rather than, show like a model rather than a house. Anything else that's, related to selling the home, right? You have a video for it. Send it to them every week. With that, you should be using the Realtor Property Resource, because you can send them a market activity report. Okay, you can send it every week, every month. Again, ask them, how often do you want to know about the market? Right? When somebody hears you're in real estate, what's the first question you get? How's the market? Right? Rather than say, oh, market's great, houses are selling. Oh, would you like to be updated on the market every week or every month? Absolutely. So then you're providing something of value, and you're the expert in that area. There is a company that charges for their market snapshot. They charge that. You can get it for free from the Realtor Property Resource. You can set the area that it's for, and 3 days back, a month back, 3 months back, whatever you want to do, you can put together those market activity reports. They're great handouts for open houses. Okay, rather than just your flyer that I know you spend a lot of time designing and you're really proud of. You could have a property report, you could have a neighborhood report, and a market activity report, and even a school report. Okay, depending on the property, I'll have all those reports available as a takeaway for somebody to take away from that open house. RPR is nerrpr.com. It's a free value-added benefit of being a member of the National Association of Realtors. Okay, so at the end I'm not going to go, that's not all, folks. For $29.99 you can get this. No, it's free. Just not using it. Okay? Google Hangouts and Duo, again, about communicating more effectively. Video is about being face-to-face when you can't be. Anything that I would send a text message for or an email, I send a video instead. Why read it if I can watch it? Okay, you've heard of FaceTime, right? Everybody heard of FaceTime? Mm-hmm. I heard somebody say, we should use FaceTime for video. FaceTime today, I'm like. So FaceTime was good when it was the only thing. It was Skype first, then FaceTime, then you have Google Hangouts. So Google Hangouts does work cross-platform, but they have to have a Gmail account, right? So if somebody has an Apple, they're weird, they're like, I want to get a Gmail account. That's where Duo comes in. Duo is another Google product, but it works with their phone number. So they don't have to get a Gmail account. Okay? Pick that up later. All right, so with Hangouts, I just want to give you the features and benefits of when you would use it. Hangouts works on everything, right? Mobile device, iPad, phone, or your desktop. Cross-platform. But you need a Gmail account. So when you start using e-signatures and transaction management, some of you are saying like, well, my clientele can't do it. They have issues with it, or they don't want that. Okay, some of that is you, again, getting in the way of yourself. But if I have a client that's having a problem with e-signatures, I do a Google Hangout. With a Google Hangout, they can share their screen with me, and I'll walk them through the paperwork. Okay? And you can have up to 10 different people on a Google Hangout at once. So think about this. If dad, uncle, cousin, sister, brother, grandma, extended cousins, they all want to see the house but they can't make it that day, you could do a Google Hangout and they could all be there for the showing virtually. Right? And I also talked about the other two instances where you could use video for showing is your military, right? If they have a spouse that's overseas. A lot of times these folks, they're overseas and they buy this house sight unseen, right? The wife goes, it's like, I want them more involved in the process. The other example is relocation. You have those people that they come into town, right? I want 15 houses and we have 30 minutes. You've had those clients, right? You show the houses, you're done. Give a real life example. I show these houses, we're going to write an offer, multiple offers, we don't get it. And I'm like, okay, well our second choice was this other property, but we're not really sure. We'd like to take a second look, and you can't come back for another 3 weeks. And we need to close in 8 weeks. Okay, in my market, 8 weeks is probably what we need to close. So I do a Google Hangout with both of them, husband's at work, wife's at home. I walk through the property, and they literally tell me where to go. I'm walking through, they're like, oh, stop. Go in on the fireplace. Back. Okay? The showing took them 30 minutes, but they wrote an offer without seeing that house for a second time. It's based on the video that I provided. And then they asked, I even walked outside and walked in the street. I'm sure the neighbors thought I was like crazy, but I'm in the street, like showing them the street scene, what the neighborhood was like. You get a pretty good idea of the property in the house virtually. Yes?
So what you're saying is, okay, so create a meeting or Google Hangout with them. Both of them like where they are. And then instead of me being at my desk, what if I just move the house?
Correct. So the question is, you create a meeting with them wherever they are, and then instead of being at your desk, yes. So you got to download the Hangout app, right? And what you would do is go into your Gmail calendar, you create the appointment. There's an option to add a video call. And if they work in any kind of office environment, they're used to getting meeting requests. It makes it simple because all they have to do is click that link for the video call, and they're on the call. And you can be wherever you want to be. Okay? But
They don't have to have a Gmail account?
they do have to have a Gmail account. Yeah, with the Hangout. But if they don't have one, they just create one. Or, there's times where I get invited to a Hangout, and they had my JMAN seminars email address, but they need to have my Gmail. So I would reply back, like, here's my Gmail address, make sure that you add that to the meeting rather than the current address that you have. Then I just have to click it and we do the Hangout. Okay? If it's just something I need to communicate quickly with a video conference, Duo is going to be your answer because they don't need the Gmail account. Phone to phone.
That's if it's only one person, right?
Right. So it's only going to work one-to-one. It does one thing, and it does one thing very well. It's video calling, phone to phone. And the way I would invite you to Duo, right? And you do it by your phone number. There's no email address involved, there's no login, there's no password. I will tell you, if you're on an Android, they have this feature, it's called knock knock. That when you're calling somebody, they immediately can see you even before they answer the phone. Okay? So people do weird things before the other person picks up the phone, right? So if you're like fixing your hair, you're like, oh, I know. They can see you before they pick up the phone. But you can use this to your advantage. If you had a multiple offer situation, they got the house, you could have a piece of paper held up like congrats or whatever it is. So that they see their phone, they're in a meeting, they have to get it. It's my realtor calling. Good news. Okay, so just keep that in mind. That's with Android. With iPhone users, when you use Duo, if you have the app open, then the knock will work.
I have an Android and they don't have an Android.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, they don't. As long as I have the Android.
Yeah, I'm just saying that with Android users, that knock feature is enabled all the time. Just so you know, you're not sticking your nose or something for it. They can't hear you, they can see you.
How do you know if somebody's calling me as an Android with that knock on? Because I have an Android, I never heard that.
You'll see it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay? Yeah, pretty awesome. If Google realized like that was the last issue with their video conferencing, was that you had to have a Gmail account. They still wanted to, have a solution for that. Okay? And the real property resources function. Bomb. Here's a video screen recording of my BombBomb account. I'll let it play a little bit more of a Fix Yourself campaign. So you have add your own video, be personalized, main selling room, air quality, home inspection, features that attract buyers. So it's great because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. There are pre-written templates there for you. And that's always the case. Like, okay, I want to do a video, but I don't know what to say. The other part is you don't like how you look. We're going to talk about that at 2 o'clock. This is my 2 o'clock class. Right? But you don't know what to say, so the templates are already there. Okay? Add why a home doesn't sell. Winter curb appeal. The importance of a buyer's agent. Why the right realtor matters. How a realtor gets paid. Anatomy of a home purchase. Questions every buyer will ask. How much can you afford? All that. Right? So think about it. We talked about this during the break with the other millennials in the room. That it's going to take you some time to do all these videos in the beginning, but once they're done, you're done. Right? Because you don't have to personalize it every time. I'm not to say, John, we're going to talk about personalizing your home. No, they have a question about what to do to personalize their home. I send them the video. They have no idea that it's pre-recorded. If you get a new hairstyle or you lose weight or something like that, then you do a new video. Okay? In the summertime, I shaved my head, so I had to do some new ones. Now it's going back sometime. Yeah, it gives you the copy in the email. Not necessarily a script, but you get the idea, and you can go from there. I'm not going to give you too many video tips in this class, but the tip that I will give you is don't use a script. Just know your bullet points of what you want to cover and speak conversationally, right? Just like you would sit with the seller and explain it, is how you're going to do it with video. Pretend it's there on the other end of that camera, and you're explaining it. Okay, don't get too worked up like, oh, my hair, oh, I don't like the way I look, oh, just get it done. Correct, yeah, so the text is in the email and the video, so that you're kind of covering both bases, whether they want to watch the video or whether they want to read it. I can tell you they'll want to watch the video rather than read it. Yeah. So if you go down, I don't work for BombBomb, I just love them. Okay? They have a show special now, it's $250 off, a custom email or something. Yeah, well, custom, they can create custom templates for you, branded to you and your company. HDTV effect. What is this? Somebody tell me. Right? Well, what's up back there? Yeah. Right. So we're going to see 3 houses, I'll make an offer, and then we'll close in 20 minutes. Right? Right. We talked about this earlier, but how many times have you had a client who's like, oh, knock out this wall? Right? If I had a doubt for every time I heard that, I'd be retired. Okay? But the HGTV effect works to your benefit, working with sellers. Because they see on TV that, oh, we should save the house, right? I would. Right? Oh, we should have somebody come in and professionally clean the carpets, right? Yeah, sounds like a good idea. Right, so one of my opening questions is, what do you think we should do to get this house put on the market? Let's think like house, if you're watching House Hunters or HGTV, what do you think we should do? Whatever their suggestion is, if it's within reason, I'm not going to, they go, well, I think we should gut the kitchen. Maybe not. Let's dial it back a bit. Maybe just new countertops, hardware, new flooring, right? We call that the lipstick. This works to your benefit. Okay, so refer back to it. If they're watching it, they know how a model house looks on TV. You got to tell them, like, you live in your house one way, you sell it another. Right? So the more work we put, all the work to selling a house is done before you put it on the market. Right? All the repairs, all the rest of that stuff. And then when it hits the market, depending on how some of the markets where you're at, you have a shortage of inventory, you're getting multiple offers. You don't have multiple offers by noontime, then it's overpriced. But where I come from, average days on market 73, we needed, and the ones that are selling this time of year are the ones that are priced right, good condition, safe, all those little improvements are done. So use that HGTV effect to your benefit. Okay? Got it. So, see if I can click on that. I doubt the internet will work, but there's two different forms I give them. These things will happen. If you shoot me an email, I'll reply back with my email here, jman@jmanseminars.com. But if you shoot me an email, I'll send you these documents. These things will happen, and then also the pending process. Okay, so, this is in my Dropbox account, so I just wanted to show it to you. These things will most likely happen to the seller, right? The buyer will negotiate 2 to 5 times on this transaction. They will negotiate the purchase price, the inspection, hence the appraisal, and then the final walkthrough. Right? It's about creating expectation up front. When it does happen, it's not a surprise, and they're blaming you. Well, you didn't tell me that. You didn't tell it to them. It's your fault. Okay? You want to tell your friends and family about your experience on social media. Do not. Okay? Offer comes in. Again, we talked about this in the buyer side. It's the same thing with sellers. Do not talk about anything about the property, about offers, about anything. As you're desperate to sell. You have these sellers that go on Facebook and they're like, we buried a St. Joseph statue in the backyard, and everybody please pray for me and the sale of my property. You should be worried as an agent when you see that, because they're going to St. Joseph. Right? They don't have a lot of faith in you. The property might not appraise for what you're selling it for. The agent will make scheduled appointments and not call or show up. Does that happen? Maybe it hasn't happened in a long time, but if it does, you want to have told them that it might happen. Okay? Appointments will be made and canceled at the last minute. The agent on the sign will be in witness protection and will not return any phone calls. Okay? Sometimes we get busy. It's not our fault. But if you have a team in place, you have an admin, you have somebody that looks like, I'm busy working with sellers all the time. You may not hear from me. If you hear from my admin or a member of my team to make sure that you're happy. Okay, but again, it's about, if they hired you expecting to hear from you every day, you didn't create that expectation up front, it's your fault again. Some showings will last about 5 minutes, and some showings will last 3 hours. Right? You're there for 3 hours, and you don't get an offer. That's the other part of that. Right? It's probably 2 engineers who, I love you. There's engineers in the room, I love you. But it's like, do you like the house? No. All right, let's go. Now let's keep looking though. Let's keep looking. Right? And you want to see the mechanicals and the electric and all the rest of it. There'll be a day when I call you and say, someone wants to see your house, and you're going to ask me when, and I'm going to say, pull your curtains back. They're sitting outside right now. Right? Say that, I said it earlier. I'm going to call you 3 minutes before your showing can cancel, sometimes 20 minutes after. Agents are going to make appointments at the very last minute. You see this trend? I'm like setting the stage, because that does happen. We're even going to call you with a buyer sitting outside your door. Agents are going to knock on your door and even drive by and see you in the yard and ask tenant to your house. Yeah, that happens. Or the buyer, right? A buyer may come and say tenant to your house. And the seller's like, oh yeah, somebody wanted to, a stranger knocked on my door and said they want to see the house. They let them in and showed them the house. I'm like, what are you doing? Right? You get to tell them, like, okay, you tell them, call the guy on the side. You don't know who these people are. They may not be interested in real estate. They may just open the house out, see, you know, and have to use the bathroom, leave the window unlocked, and then come back later. Okay, expect lowball offers. Or at least, you know, to get started from. Buyers may lose their job or work gets quit during the mortgage process. Does that happen? Okay? You said we had a done deal. You know, stuff happens with financing, especially these days. There's double testing, triple testing, and somebody wasn't truthful on the entire application, then there's a problem. Okay? Anything else you would add to that? The pending process, again, I've talked to a lot of different people in the break and during the last couple of days. Your pending process is different all across the people, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. So whatever your pending process is, where I'm from, earnest money within 2 days, inspection within 7 calendar days, right? We have 30 days to get a mortgage approved. So I have that entire process bulleted, but I also do it with a video, as we talked about earlier. You know, congratulations on the purchase of the home. You're not through the woods yet. Things will have to do a video. Yes. So that would be part of your interview, though, right? When you first get to listen. Okay, so I've heard that more than once today about the oil tank issue. That's a big deal. So yeah, you do that. When you do that during your listing, then I would also put it as part of your pending process. If you're in an area that has septic, realize that in our area it's customary for the sellers to pay for that inspection. So that's part of the pending process. So they realize that, and that's part of what we talked about when I list the house. Okay. AVM versus RVM. AVM is an automated valuation model. The most popular, starts with a T and rhymes with estimate. Right? See how on the market is. Is that part of your discussion every single time you work with a seller? If it isn't, it should be. Okay? So before you go on that listing presentation, I would go on I would Google the address, where you're doing. I go on Zillow, I go on Julia, I go on every other site I can find to see what the automated valuation number is, what the estimate might be. If it's high, you want to know about it, right? If it's low, they'll never bring it up. Right? It's the seller. So who's going to bring it up? The buyer when they write that offer. Okay, so again, it's an education process that Zillow, the estimates, they're only as good as the information that you're given. I use assisting to the real property resource. I created an 83-page seller's report supporting the value. Okay, and Zillow, if you go on the site, if you just Google now, what is the estimate? It'll say it's just an estimate of value. Right? If you want a more accurate depiction of value, the first thing they recommend that you do, call a real estate agent. Okay? So Joe told you to call me. That's why I'm here. But its estimate is plus or minus 20% on average, 70% of the time. So a $200,000 house, that's 160 to 240 of a range. Pretty sure anybody in here can close your eyes, throw a dart at that dartboard, and come up with a value that is accurate. Okay, RPR is plus or minus 10%, and that value is dialed in further with your knowledge. Your knowledge of the property, your knowledge of the area. If you can refine the value based on home improvement, market conditions, view amenities, location, that kind of stuff. Stuff that you as an expert in the market would know. Yeah? Talk about this, the truth. speaking the truth, telling the truth. It's how you build trust. Creating those expectations up front, going through the entire process, asking them what matters to them most. Right? What are they looking for in an agent? Have you ever asked that question? What are you looking for in an agent? Your value proposition is, I'll find you the house that you're going to buy. Probably not. Okay? The number one thing that sellers are looking for from their agent is what? Finding the right house. Okay? Here's some generational differences.
Hi, I'm a baby boomer.
And I'm Generation Y.
I like to show dedication to my employer by working really long hours.
I don't really feel like I need to work long hours as long as I get my work done.
I'm excited when my workday starts.
I'm excited when my workday ends.
I like to have meetings in person.
I prefer email or voicemail.
I've worked hard to climb the corporate ladder.
I should already be at the top of the ladder. I mean, I have a degree.
I put in 60 hours at the office last week.
I'm taking next month off to go hiking in Malaysia.
I have a sense of entitlement.
Oh, so do I.
Hey. I like Maxwell House.
Oh, I prefer Starbucks.
I've just got a Facebook account.
Oh, Facebook. Good for you. That is so 2009.
I like competition.
I prefer collaboration.
I've heard of that.
Ah, and he doesn't know this, but I plan on getting his job when he retires.
She doesn't know this, but I'm never going to retire. Now, come on. We really need to work at getting along.
See, there you go with work again.
That's what I'm saying. You have no work ethic.
Well, that's because to you, working at half day means you leave at 5. You know what? You're right. We do need to try to get along.
That's what I think.
Okay, well, why don't we focus on what we admire about each other?
Great.
If you think about it, your generation invented a lot of the technology we use.
Yes, but for you it just seems to come so easily.
Well, only because we're practically playing video games in our cribs.
Yes, that's true. You did have a different upbringing, though. My parents are still married to each other. Yes, that was the thing. We thought that was very important, so we tried to pump your generation full of it, which is why for everything you've got a participation with it.
You know, we can use a little more of that here at work. I mean, does anybody ever say, hey, thanks for coming to work on time. Good job getting your work done. No, it's just like it's expected or something.
It is by those of us with a work ethic.
There you go again.
Hi, I'm a baby boomer.
And I'm Generation Y.
And we're Generation X, and we're stuck in the middle of all of this.
So that brings us to the millennial age, and I'd like to show that video first because it really brings up a lot of the differences of how people are brought up and how they work and why there can be some friction. I'm going to say, right, a little bit of friction when it comes to working with somebody from a different generation in the transaction, right? So let's start with transparency. We talked about that 81% of millennials like this question. Right? The best way to build that stuff, as we said before, is transparency in the process. Like if I have a multiple offer situation, I'm inviting you to the office to present your offer in person with anybody else with multiple offers. So you can see we're on the up and up. We have nothing to hide here. It's a 100% transparent process. Does that make sense? Anything else that you do, if it could be construed as shady, it's definitely going to be construed. Okay, give an example. My wife, who's also a realtor, and I'll take a look at that. So, it's the best way to not get divorced in real estate is to have a spouse and spouse. They understand if you go. Well, anyway, so she writes an offer on a foreclosure. She writes it as we're driving down on Monday. Monday night, no response. Tuesday morning, no response. Tuesday around late morning, no response. What's going on? Why hasn't he responded? Must be other offers. That we're going to dispute on the deal. Right? Finally, he responds by Tuesday afternoon saying, we see the offer, sorry, it's me. But if you would have just replied, if you receive the offer, okay, you know, go this afternoon, I get that you're busy, but not hearing from somebody and not communicating automatically goes to worst case scenario. Right? When you don't hear something in real estate, you're like, something's going on here, right? Especially if you're in a market where you have multiple offers happening all the time. I'm worried. Definitely. Okay, for transparency. Communication, again, with the agent communicating their way. If I send you a text message, you immediately call me. Is that what I wanted? No. Okay? If you need to call me, you fly that. And that way, you'll write my voice in so you can have. The biggest challenge is like, I send you a text message, you call me, you're like, okay, I'm confirming the showing, but please call me back to confirm the confirmation that you're going to show the property. So you've added another inefficiency. No. The communication their way. Okay? Flexible work schedule. As a boomer, you may be used to a 9 to 5. I told you I may work like 9 to 11, go to the gym like 12 to 1:30 or something, work in the afternoon, kids come home from school, from 4 to 5 to 8. I don't work, I'm going to work from 2 to 12. So if I call you at 9 o'clock, don't freak out. I called a boomer at 9 o'clock at night. You guys, some nerve calling me at 9 o'clock at night. I'm trying to show you listing. Right? So just think that flexible, it's not that when they're calling to bother you. You can put, send to voicemail or you can maybe use the phone for this. Get a schedule, online. But think about it, flexible work schedule. Okay, they're not 9 to 5 people. Balance. Okay, between work and life. Efficiency. Love that one. Right? So if you have millennials in your committees or as part of your office and they have a meeting, don't have a meeting to have a meeting. Right? To discuss what we're going to do in the next meeting. Okay? Get to the point. Does that make sense? Okay? In the transaction, I don't need you to tell me the whole history of the property when I call the sale. Okay, like, I'm going to tell you that 1926, seller arrived from Ellis Island, and then they sold tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So this is a good job. Okay, just know that they're creative. Okay, that's one of the big things about millennial agents, that if you're working with them, there is a better way sometimes. Okay, the most frustrating thing, like I say when I first started the business, it was like, listen, kid, this is how we've always done it. But sometimes there's a better way. They should be open-minded, listen to them, they have great ideas. And I promise you, if you don't listen to them in the beginning, you won't be hearing from them much more after that. So you're like, well, why should I do that? Why should I say something if there's no reason? Okay. That brings us right to 12 o'clock on the dot. Do we have any questions? Besides the fact that, no? All right, give yourselves a round of applause.